All right, it is 7 p.m. and I would like to call this meeting to order. While this meeting is being held in person, we are also offering the option for the public to participate through Zoom if preferred. Instructions on how to participate virtually are included in the City Council calendar item listed on the front page of missionks.org. Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Robin, please call the roll.
Hayden Chomposi.
Here.
Loudon.
Here.
Ryard.
Here.
Kring.
Here.
Schmidt.
Here.
Carpenter Davis.
Here.
Josie.
Here.
All right, we do not have any public hearings this evening, therefore we will move into our special presentations. We have two special presentations tonight. The first is a presentation from BT&Co on the 2024 Comprehensive Financial Report. Justin, will you please introduce our guests?
Good evening. Before I turn it over to Stacy Hammond with BT&Co to kind of present the 2024 audit, I just want to take a moment to recognize that it takes a village to compile the audit. And so just want to recognize the efforts that went into that with Christine Korth, our budget manager, Joanna Marin, our accountant, and all the other staff that kind of contributed to that. So that being said, when it comes to audits, no news is good news. And that's what we have here. And with that, I'll turn it over to Stacy to walk you through it.
Thank you, Justin. I think Justin's kind of stolen my thunder here. I'm here to tell you I have a very boring presentation this evening, but in audit land, boring is good. Sorry about that. So good evening, everyone. I'm pleased to be here this evening to present the results of the City of Mission's annual financial statement audit. I believe all of you have received two documents from us. One of them is a copy of the audited financial statements, and the other is a report addressed to the mayor and city council. That report that's addressed to the mayor and city council really puts into writing items that our standards require us to present, summarizing the results of the audit, and it also forms the basis of my presentation this evening. If you happen to have that open in front of you or on your screen, the report to the mayor and city council, and would like to follow along, the first thing I need to visit with you about is our responsibilities in performing the audit, which are listed at the top of page 1, where it says required communications at the top. We did perform the city's audit in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards, as well as standards set forth in the Kansas Municipal Audit and Accounting Guide. Those standards require us to perform procedures in order to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the city's financial statements are free from material misstatement. As far as the procedures that we performed, we did examine on a test basis evidence supporting the amounts and disclosures in the financial statements. And we also reviewed the significant estimates made by management, significant accounting policies, and evaluated the overall financial statement presentation. Probably the most important thing that I'll be telling you this evening is that as a result of performing those procedures, we did determine that the financial statements of the city are presented fairly in all material respects in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. Therefore, we issued what we call an unmodified audit opinion, which is the best kind of opinion that the city can receive. Moving on to the accounting policies and practices section of this report on page 1. Here we would bring to your attention anything related to changes in existing accounting policies or principles, newly adopted accounting policies or standards, significant estimates, or significant and unusual transactions. There are two items in this area that we need to visit about this year. The first one is that the city did adopt a new accounting standard titled GASB Statement Number 101, Compensated Absences. That standard updates the recognition and measurement guidance for compensated absences. The second thing I need to report on is that the city does have several significant accounting estimates, which are set out on pages 6 and 7 of this report. Our responsibility as auditors is to make sure that the city has a reasonable process in place to measure and report each of those accounting estimates. And we did determine, as a result of our audit procedures, that the city does have a reasonable process in place to measure and record its accounting estimates. If you move over to page 2 of the report to the board, there's a section titled Audit Adjustments. And we did make several audit adjustments to the trial balance that was presented to us to begin our audit. Most of those adjustments were in order to convert from the cash basis of accounting, which is what the city software is capable of reporting on, to the modified accrual and accrual basis of accounting, which the audit is required to be reported on. So that's the reason for most of those journal entries. Moving on to page 3 of the report, there is a section titled Observations about the Audit Process, where I would tell you if anything bad had happened during the audit as far as concerns or issues that might have come to our attention as a result of disagreements with management over accounting transactions or application of accounting policies. I'm pleased to report that there were no disagreements in those areas. Everyone at the city was extremely cooperative throughout the entire audit process, and they were very transparent in answering the numerous questions that we had. I would like to point out that there's one thing you're not seeing in this report. If we had identified any significant deficiencies or material weaknesses in internal controls, those would be in writing in this report to the mayor and city council. The fact that you don't see anything related to that means there were no significant deficiencies or material weaknesses in internal controls, which is an excellent result. The final thing I'd like to bring to your attention is that after pages 6 and 7, there's a letter addressed to BT&Co that runs a few pages with a bunch of numbered items on it, and we call that management's representation letter. That letter is the final step in the audit process, and it puts into writing everything that management represented to us throughout the course of the audit. When that letter is signed and returned to us, it's kind of the signifier that the audit's ready to be completed. We like to include that in your packet so that you know what was represented to us. We think it helps you to fulfill your fiduciary responsibilities in being able to read that. With that really is my entire presentation this evening. A boring presentation, like I said, and Justin, is a good presentation. Before I turn it over for questions, I would like to thank Christine and her staff for all their hard work in preparing for the audit this year. I think it's the 3rd year in a row that the city had a major new accounting standard that needed to be implemented. So a lot of work goes into those, and we greatly appreciate the work that the city did. To have a good audit result isn't just something the city prepared for in the several weeks before the audit. You really have to have good processes and procedures in place year-round to achieve that result. So thank you. And with that, I'll open it up to any questions.
Do we have any questions for Stacy? Debbie?
Great news. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Yeah, thank you all for your work on the audit and our comprehensive financial report. Again, special thanks to Christine and Joanna, in addition to our outside consultants, for all the countless hours they had to dedicate to the audit process, making sure the auditors had all the information they requested. As a note to the public, the report will be formally accepted by the city council under our new business items later on our agenda this evening. Thank you. Our second presentation tonight is a proclamation declaring July as Parks and Recreation Month. Parks and Recreation are vitally important to establishing and maintaining the quality of life in our communities, ensuring the health of all citizens, and contributing to the economic and environmental well-being of a community and region. Parks and Recreation programs build healthy, active communities and increase a community's economic prosperity. So as we proclaim this as Parks and Recreation Month, I encourage all to enjoy our many facilities, parks, and programs, and to thank Director Ben Almany and his staff for their important work. I would also like to note that this Friday, July 18th, is National Parks and Recreation Professionals Day, a day to celebrate all the dedicated professionals who build strong, vibrant, and resilient communities through the power of parks and recreation. So really great to have this following our amazing summer picnic that we had on Saturday. Penn, would you and any members of your staff like to come forward to receive the proclamation?
Thank you.
All right, next up, we do have the need for an executive session this evening. So the governing body will adjourn to executive session for the allotted time. When that time has expired, the governing body will reconvene to do one of the following. One, extend the time required for discussion and return to executive session. Or two, continue with our city council meeting. As a reminder to the public, the governing body may take no binding action in an executive session. I would entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move the city council recess to executive session in accordance with K.S.A. 75-4319B2 for consultation with the city's attorney. Also attending the executive session will be City Attorney Dave Martin, City Administrator Laura Smith, and Deputy City Administrator Justin Carroll. The open meeting will resume in the council chambers at 7:33.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Robin, please call the roll.
Loudon.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Josie.
Aye.
Hayden Chomposi.
Aye.
Carpenter Davis.
Aye.
Crane.
Aye.
Ryder.
Aye.
Motion carries.
It's 7:31 PM and we are back from executive session and we'll resume our regular business. Next would be, issuance of notes and bonds. We do not have any items related to the issuance of notes and bonds this evening, so we'll move on to our consent agenda. Our consent agenda consists of 3 items tonight. Our council committees met on July 9th and fully discussed each of these items. The committees agreed that the items listed on our consent agenda are routine enough to be considered under a single motion. If a council member or member of the public would like an item removed from the consent agenda, they may request that at this time. Otherwise, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mayor, I move the go ahead. Sorry.
Mayor, I move the city council adopt the consent agenda as printed, items 5A through 5C.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Robin, please call the roll.
Hayden Chomposi,
Aye.
Pring,
Aye.
Ryder,
Aye.
Carpenter Davis.
Aye.
Schmid,
Aye.
Loudon,
Aye.
Josie,
Aye.
I didn't think of this before, but Mayor, you were absent June 18th for the minutes. She's still signed.
I believe that's correct. Yeah. Okay. Next we will move in, or sorry, yes, you're Robin called the roll already. All right, next we'll move into public comments. If any members of the public would like to make a comment on items not included on the agenda, now would be the time. If you are participating through Zoom, please either add your comment in the chat feature and it will be read out loud, or note that you would like to speak and we will call on you shortly to make your comment verbally. Please remember your comments or questions are visible to everyone in the meeting. If you are part of our in-person group tonight, please raise your hand but stay seated and we will call on you to come to the lectern to make your comments. When you make your comment, please state your name and city of residence for record. Also be conscientious of others trying to speak and speak slowly and clearly. If I need to confirm something that may have been difficult to hear, I will ask for clarification. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. Justin, anyone online? Don't see any hands in our audience. All right. We will move into our committee reports. Councilmember Schmidt, will you please provide a report from the Finance and Administration Committee?
I will, thank you. The Finance and Administration Committee met on July 9th and considered 5 items. The July 9th committee meeting minutes and contract renewal for crossing guard services were approved under the consent agenda. The authorization of forfeiture funds for Family Services Center, resolution of intent to levy a property tax exceeding the revenue neutral rate for the 2026 budget, City of Mission, and for the 2026 budget, Rock Creek Drainage District Number 2, will be considered on the regular agenda tonight. Item 8A, authorizing forfeiture funds for Family Services Center. District Attorney Steve Howe has contacted all Johnson County law enforcement agencies to advocate for the creation of a Family Safety Center in Johnson County. Family Safety Centers provide multiple services to crime victims under one roof, which benefits victims as well as contributes to the prosecution of the offenders responsible for crimes. To kickstart this process, the Johnson County Family Safety Center Foundation, which Mr. Howe is a board member of, recognized the need to engage a consultant in the planning stages of the project. They have elected to engage Alliance for Hope International, who has assisted other jurisdictions in the planning process for other similar family safety centers. The cost to engage Alliance for Hope International is expected to be $70,000 to $80,000. It has been determined that Mission's proposed contribution of $3,000 would be allowable expenditure from the Special Law Enforcement Trust Fund. District Attorney Steve Howe extended the July 9, 2025 Finance and Administration Committee meeting and provided further information about the vision for a family safety center. During his presentation, District Attorney Howe indicated he did anticipate he would be coming back to the cities in Johnson County following the study to make a request for ongoing operational funding for the Family Safety Center. Mayor, I move the City Council approve the expenditure of $3,000 from the Special Law Enforcement Trust Fund towards a contribution to the Family Safety Center and direct the city administrator to prepare a letter to accompany the contribution outlining the council's concerns with future funding requests for operation of said Family Safety Center.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Any public comments on this item? Seeing none, Robin, oh, sorry, Leah.
It's okay. I just wanted to say that I thought this was a really good idea. When people have been victims of crimes, it's very difficult for them to have to go from place to place to place or to figure out the resources that they need through the steps, the process of reporting the crime and getting the resources that they need. And they find that they end up repeating their story over and over and over, which causes additional trauma and stress to the victims. So this idea, I think, could really be helpful for victims of crimes and also as this says, the prosecution of crimes, because many of these crimes do not often get prosecuted because it's so overwhelming for the victims. And no one leads you through all of the processes needed to go through all of the steps. So having one place they can go to get this information and to get other resources that are needed, I think it would go a long way in helping the citizens of Mission and Johnson County as a whole.
All right, any other comments? Seeing none, Robin, please call the roll.
Carpenter Davis.
Aye.
Crane. Aye. Loudon.
Aye.
Josie.
Aye.
Ryard.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Hayden Chomposi.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 8B, resolution of intent to levy a property tax exceeding the revenue neutral rate for the 2026 budget, City of Mission. And also item 8C, the resolution of intent to levy a property tax exceeding the revenue neutral rate for the 2026 budget for Rock Creek Drainage District Number 2. Following legislation passed several years ago, if the governing body would like to retain a mill levy which is equal to or greater than the one of the current tax year, notice must be provided to the county clerk no later than July 20. This notice must be provided in the form of a council resolution to ensure Mission can capture the appropriate revenue when planning for the 2026 budget. Two separate resolutions have been prepared which would provide the county appropriate notice of Mission's intent to exceed the revenue neutral rate for the 2026 budget. The resolutions also establish the date and time of the required public hearing, which will be held during the September 17th, 2025 City Council meeting. There is no resolution for Rock Creek Drainage District Number 1, as the valuation within the drainage district decreased and holding the mill level constant would not exceed the revenue neutral rate. The mill levy may be reduced following the public hearing in September, but it may not be increased once notice is given to the county by the July 20th deadline. The county will take the information provided by all taxing jurisdictions and send notices to every property owner. At the July 9th Finance and Administration Committee, the council discussed including an upper limit mill levy increase of 3.5 mills over the current rate for the City of Mission's 2026 budget based on future needs, including a police and city hall facility, continued support of the street maintenance program, and maintenance of high-quality core service delivery. The committee also recommended maintaining the current mill levy of 7.745 mills for Rock Creek Drainage District Number 2, which does exceed the estimated revenue neutral rate as calculated by the county. The county will take the information provided by all taxing jurisdictions and send notices to every property owner. A motion is required for each resolution. Therefore, Mayor, I move the City Council approve the resolution for the City of Mission providing notice of the governing body's intent to levy a property tax exceeding the revenue neutral rate for the 2026 budget.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any public comment on this item? Seeing none, do we have any council comments or questions? Debbie?
I would still like us to continue to look at ways to cut back or gain revenue, because what happens now, I mean, we've got so much street maintenance and that's taken us over, but I would like to continue to look at those facets of city government and see what we can do because it impacts our citizens.
We absolutely will. And we also, following our discussion at the committee meeting last week, have started the internal conversations about how to maybe do more widespread notification about the rebate programs, should the council decide to proceed with this. But we will continue to work on that, and we think that the numbers will get better by the time we get to September. But as you know, we have some pretty large looming needs that have been deferred.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Laura, for that. Leah?
I just wanted to state that, you know, in the last few years, we've really worked hard to do a lot of work on our streets. And I do know that our citizens appreciate that. So I think that many of them would be happy for us to continue doing that, but that is expensive. It takes a lot of resources and money. We've been very careful to get grants when possible or to partner with the county to make that happen. So just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, I think that's right. And making sure that we can, set the mill levy where we can address the needs that our residents have identified and that we, constantly hear on streets and, to a lesser extent parks now that we've really dove into that work. But I think for those who missed the last meeting, we talked about, how can we set a responsible mill levy that will help us to address those needs, but then make sure that our assistance programs are also where they need to be and reaching the right people so we can have targeted relief for those in our community who might need it. So thank you staff for looking at that and how we can make those continue to make those communications robust. All right, any further comments? Seeing none, Robin, please call the roll.
Carpenter Davis.
Aye.
Crane.
Aye.
Loudon.
Aye.
Josie.
Aye.
Ryder.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Hayden Champosi.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Moving on to the second resolution. Mayor, I move the city council approve the resolution for the Rock Creek Drainage District Number 2, providing notice of the governing body's intent to levy a property tax exceeding the revenue neutral rate for the 2026 budget.
Second.
Sorry, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any public comment on this one? Seeing none, any council comment or discussion? Seeing none, Robin, please call the roll.
Josie.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Crane.
Aye.
Loudon.
Aye.
Carpenter Davis.
Aye.
Hayden Champosi.
Aye.
Ryder.
Aye.
Motion carries.
That concludes my report.
All right, Councilmember Carpenter Davis, will you please provide a report from the Community Development Committee?
Thank you, Mayor. The Community Development Committee also met on July 9 and considered 2 items. The meeting minutes and contract award for Hodges Localized Stormwater Project were approved under the consent agenda earlier tonight. No items will be considered under the regular agenda from this committee this evening. That concludes my report.
All right, thank you. We do not have any unfinished business tonight, so we'll move on to our new business. We do have 3 items of new business this evening. The first is for acceptance of right-of-way, permanent sidewalk easements, and temporary construction easements for the Johnson Drive Street Rehabilitation Project. Laura, will you please provide a report about this item?
Thank you. Director Boyce is not feeling well this evening. She's online, but I told her I would stand in and do my best to pinch hit in presenting this. So as you know, we've been in design for the Johnson Drive Street Rehabilitation Project from Lamar to Metcalf, which is slated for construction in 2026. Part of that process, at the end of last year, the council authorized a contract with an appraiser. Because we are receiving $6 million in federal funds as a part of this project, we have to follow certain federal guidelines in terms of how we offer compensation for any right-of-way, permanent or temporary construction easements that would be necessary in order to complete the project. The appraisal work was done. The appraiser has been in contact with there are 21 parcels where some type of easement is required. And he's been in contact with all of those property owners. What we have before you in this new business item this evening is acceptance from 6 property owners who have signed their easements and are ready to proceed. Our practice has been, rather than holding them all to the end, as we acquire them, we will bring them forward for you to accept. And because there is permanent right-of-way and other things associated here, you need to do that. So the tracks that you have, we have 6 tracks, as I mentioned, Mission Wellness Chiropractic, Azura Credit Union, the Planet Sub Headless Hands Tattoo Building, the vacant building at the northeast corner of Johnson Drive in Barkley, which is part of the Cornerstone Commons development, where just a very small temporary construction easement was required. Taco Bell and Exact Performance Automotive are the properties that are before you for consideration this evening. So we're looking for authorizing execution of the easement documents. Then once executed, those will be recorded and the property owners will receive the compensation. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Laura? Yeah, Josepha?
I just have a silly question. Can you tell me what type of easement a PSE is?
Temporary construction.
No, the
easement.
P.
Oh, PSE, permanent sidewalk easement.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes.
All right, thanks. Any members of the public who would like to comment on this item? Seeing none. Any further council comments or questions? All right, I would entertain a motion related to acceptance of the right-of-way permanent sidewalk easements and temporary construction easements for the Johnson Drive Street project as represented or as presented by Laura.
Mayor, I move the city council authorize the acceptance and recording of right-of-way permanent sidewalk easements and temporary construction easements required for the 2026 Johnson Drive Street Reconstruction Project. This includes authorizing the city administrator to execute the easement documents on behalf of the city of Mission and to issue payment to property owners as applicable.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Robin, please call the roll.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Pring. Aye. Hayden Chomposi.
Aye.
Ryard.
Aye.
Josie.
Aye.
Carpenter Davis.
Aye.
Loudon.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, our second item of new business tonight is for approval of a resolution declaring the necessity of appropriating private property for public use for the 2026 Johnson Drive Street Rehabilitation Project. Laura, can you please provide a report about this item?
Yeah, so this also relates to the easements and right-of-way that will be required for this project. We need to certify all of those easements and right-of-way to the Kansas Department of Transportation, who administers this project, and the federal funds associated with it by the end of November. In order to hit that deadline and be ready to bid the project shortly thereafter, we need to make sure that we start to take the preliminary steps should we need to proceed to use eminent domain to acquire any easements or right-of-way that we're not able to acquire through the negotiation process. So the first step in that is consideration of the resolution that's before you this evening. This lists all of the tracts that are associated with the project and includes the type of taking right-of-way easement, permanent sidewalk easement that is required for each of those. And it, as you, I think, are all familiar, in order for the city to use eminent domain or the process of condemnation as it is often referred to, you need to, it has to be taken for a public purpose. And so this resolution is declaring the necessity and establishing the public purpose for the street project. The next step that will follow shortly hereafter will be consideration of an ordinance, which includes the specific legal descriptions for any of the projects, again, that we still have not been able to acquire. The appraiser will continue to negotiate throughout the condemnation process, even for those properties that we might file a petition in district court for. Our goal is always to settle before we can get, have to go through that particular process. But again, we need to take these steps in order to be able to hit that November deadline established by KDOT. To be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Laura? Any members of the public who would like to comment on this issue? Any council discussion?
Mayor, I did want to state for the record that all of the property owners who the appraiser has contacted have been advised that the city will need to use the eminent domain proceedings should we not be able to reach negotiation. So this is not a surprise to any of the properties who are affected by the project.
Great. I would now entertain a motion related to approval of the resolution declaring the necessity of appropriating private property for public use for the 2026 Johnson Drive Street Rehabilitation Project.
Mayor, the city council adopt a resolution declaring it necessary to appropriate private property for public use. The city of Mission, Kansas for the 2026 Johnson Drive Rehabilitation Project from Lamar Avenue to Metcalf Avenue, all within the city of Mission, Johnson County, Kansas.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Robin, please call the roll.
Pring. Aye. Hayden Chomposi. Aye. Loudon. Aye. Josie.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Carpenter Davis.
Aye.
Ryard.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, our final item of new business tonight is for acceptance of the 2024 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report that was presented earlier tonight. Justin, can you please provide a report about this item?
Yeah, just as we alluded to earlier, this is just the official action item for you all to actually go ahead and accept the 2024 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. The only thing I did just want to note real quickly is this is a little bit later to be presenting the audit to you all. We did hit the normal deadline for it to be finalized is June 30th. That's when we have to submit to the GFOA. That's the organization that tracks this and gives us the recognition and certification every year. So we did hit that deadline. Everything was good on that front. So just wanted to share that piece of it. And otherwise, yeah, it's just ready for you all to formally accept it.
All right, thank you. Is there any member of the public who would like to comment on this issue? Seeing none, any council comments or questions? Yeah, Debbie?
Can you tell me what our current bond rating is?
AA plus.
Thank you.
All right, any further questions? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to accept the audited financial statements for the year ending December 31st, 2024.
Mayor, I move the city council accept the audited financial statements for the year ending December 31st, 2024.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Robin, please call the roll.
Loudon,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Josie,
Aye.
Hayden Chomposi,
Aye.
Carpenter Davis.
Aye.
Pring. Aye. Motion carries.
All right, there being no further business items for consideration, we will move into comments from the city council. This is an opportunity for comments from our council members. Does anyone on the council have something they'd like to share tonight? Yeah, Leah?
The Mission Family Picnic was a rounding success as normal. Everyone seemed to be having a great time. We had amazing weather. It was all very organized and well done.
Yeah, Debbie?
Just wanted to mention that I got to attend the swim meet, which Mission was one of 5 teams that was swimming in the swim meet on Tuesday. And then the additional meet with the older kids will be tomorrow. It's an awesome opportunity to see what our swim team has done this year. Katie Deering does a phenomenal job with these kids. And if you haven't been to the Shawnee Mission District Aquatic Center of 87th Street in Lenexa, it is absolutely phenomenal. It records everything electronically. You can see everything. Nice section for people to sit up and watch the meets. And it was just a great opportunity. And I want to congratulate Penn for the Parks and Rec aspect and Katie Deering for doing a great job with our kids. Thanks.
Any other council comments? All right, we'll move into our council committee liaison reports. These reports allow the entire governing body to stay up to date with the various activities of our boards, commissions, and committees. First is council members Loudon and Hayden Chomposi for the Sustainability Commission.
I was in the weather and didn't attend either. Apologies.
I can cover.
Yeah, great.
So just as a quick update, 2 meetings ago, the Sustainability Commission had Ashley Langenfeld, who's the city sustainability consultant, give a 2024 energy codes kind of big picture overview. It was a very detailed, great presentation. It was also just took most of the meeting. So the last meeting they had, they kind of took a chance to kind of digest that and talk about that and what they wanted to know more of and next steps and everything, just kind of big picture with that. And then they were coordinating a bunch of upcoming events. They've got 2 more dates still at the Mission Market they need volunteers for. They were coordinating for the Mission Family Picnic. The other one that you all will get a notice for, though, is we'll be sending something out soon. I don't have it in front. I think it's the first or second Saturday in August. They are going to go for their Adopt a Street on Shawnee Mission Parkway cleanup. So we're going to send something out to you all as well as the other boards and commissions for any members who would like to join them that day. They do start very early in the morning if it's hot. They are done by like 10. There will be water and stuff. So be on the lookout for that as well.
Great. Next, we have council members Kring and Schmidt for Parks, Recreation, and Tree Commission.
So we Parks and Rec and Trees met on the 14th. We met at Legacy Park as part of our process to tour all parks available, which has been a lot of fun. We mentioned the family picnic, which was a success. Want to congratulate everybody involved there. I think there was some 600 some odd hot dogs that were consumed over the course, and with more attendees than last year, which is exciting and great to see. We do have a new tree planted, celebration tree planted by former councilman Trent Boltinghouse at Anderson Park, which is fun to see next to former councilman Ken Davis's tree. So I should do one, and we can just have a whole grove of councilman trees. Did want to remind everybody that the community center is going to be closed the last couple weeks of August for maintenance. Also, due to the success of the tree drive from last year, we are doing it again. You can get some information on those trees available from the PRT's tent on the 21st and the 28th at the Mission Market. But generally speaking, there's several different sizes of trees available. Come and get them. They went quick last year, is my understanding.
Did want to mention that we have a slight issue at the picnic with recycling. And it's there's no blame, no fault, but I pulled probably 40 hot dogs out of the recycling bin and I kept pulling bottles and cans. And by the end of the night, I just said, it's not going to happen. But if somebody can come up with some ideas or suggestions for us in terms of how to better define the recycling bin, which has a big recycling center thing in the middle and it's bright blue, we would really appreciate getting feedback like that because once the food gets on the recycle activity, it's contaminated and it won't be recycled. So we'd like to look at that down the line. Thanks.
All right, next we'll hear an update from Councilmembers Ryder and Chosi on Mission Magazine.
We did not meet.
We have not met since our last report.
All right. Next is Councilmember Carpenter Davis with Family Adoption Committee.
And we haven't met either. I guess next week we're going to be meeting. Mission Family Adoption. 2 weeks, sorry, 2 weeks. So give a report then.
All right, thank you. And before we turn to Laura, I'll probably be stealing Robin's thunder here, but it does look like the Mission Market, it might be the very best weather of the summer tomorrow night. I think it's gonna be like high 70s. So if you haven't made it out to the market, tomorrow might be your night. I know we're gonna try really hard to be out there tomorrow. So Laura, do you or anyone?
I think there's a Ward 3 meeting tomorrow night
Oh,
that maybe you want,
do both.
but I didn't know if you wanted to announce that. I didn't want you to miss that
It
opportunity.
starts at 7 p.m. at the community center and we'd love to have people attend. Brian and I kind of go back and forth with 2 people or 4 people and it'd be great to have more people come. You can ask questions that you might not ordinarily ask at a council meeting.
Right. And Laura, do you have anything else to share with us tonight?
I'll ask Justin to present the June interim financial report. Do you have any new business up? Yeah. And then I'll have to think for a minute. I'm eyeballing the weather. I think we're gonna get that rain that we were
Yeah.
thinking we were gonna get tomorrow night is gonna happen here before we get out of
Yeah,
here.
thunderstorm warning has been blowing up my phone.
Yes, it's till 8:30 PM.
Right home for me.
Just real quickly, there's been a lot of budget and number conversations at the last few meetings. So the only thing I wanted to note with this month's interim report is if you do look at the revenue and expense charts that are in here, the 2025 estimated numbers are actually updated now based on some of the cutbacks and everything that we've made. So those are reflected in this report now. So you'll see that deviation from the budget. And then to Laura's point, we are hoping that things start swinging a little towards the good, and we're seeing that just a smidge with some of the revenue collections. So way too early to really bank it, but hopefully that's just a sign of things to come. So.
I will be brief. If you saw the Mission Monthly today, you saw that we have 3 new businesses to welcome in Mission: Epoxy Coating Specialists at 6800 West 47th Terrace, Wally's Wellness Studio at 5903 Woodson, and Look the Doctor's Med Spa at 5417 Johnson Drive. And then, like the mayor said, please join us at the Mission Market tomorrow night. It will be a beautiful night, and you won't sweat, which is different than a normal market nights. Thank you.
And then do that. And then
Mary, I did just have a couple of things. Every time of year feels like a busy time of year for staff, but summer, as we move into budget and a variety of other things, feels particularly busy, and everybody is sort of firing on all cylinders. So I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank all of our staff for the work that they do. It's hot. Our residents are getting a little cranky, kind of hitting those dog days of summer. We've had all kinds of interesting zoning questions and requests lately. So it's just, I appreciate all the work that that they do. And I am going to take vacation next week, so I will. So if I don't respond to you, please don't take it personally. You know, everybody is qualified and capable of handling whatever you need them to do in that time. And then we'll be back and ready to hit the ground running in August to kind of rejuvenate our budget discussions and continue towards September adoption.
Great, thank you. Before we adjourn tonight, I want to share with the public that the video from this meeting will be available through a link on our website at missionks.org. There being no further business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. We are adjourned.